Is there a connection between anemia and cognitive decline? Well, first, we have to talk about in order to optimize brain function and slow down any neurodegenerative process, you have to optimize how your brain makes energy and how that energy is utilized. Just like your automobile needs fuel in order for it to operate, so too do your neurons. In order to have healthy neurons, they need fuel and they need to be activated. But you already knew that. Just think about it. How long do you think you would last if you stopped eating entirely and did nothing all day? Like actually nothing. And I'm just thinking out loud here, but I wonder if that goes into why solitary confinement for inmates is such a drastic form of punishment. Anyway, neurons need fuel and activation, right? So now, if we were to take just one step backwards and talk about the mitochondria is a cell that produces ATP. ATP is our body's energy source. It's what our body uses as energy. And of course, the mitochondria needs a couple things in order to make ATP. It needs some sort of substrate, which is typically glucose or ketones, and it needs oxygen. Just like a fire needs oxygen in order to burn, our mitochondria need oxygen in order to make ATP. Now let's tie this into the topic of this video. What is anemia? According to the National Institute of Health, anemia is a condition that develops when your blood produces a lower than normal amount of healthy red blood cells. And if you have anemia, your body will not be able to get enough oxygen to your tissues. Why? Because red blood cells carry oxygen. And so think about it like this. If I have 25 pickup trucks, they can each carry 4 molecules of oxygen. I can now carry 100 molecules of oxygen, right? Pretty simple math. But let's say we're in a time like right now where inflation is stupid high and people are getting rid of their pickup trucks because gas is too expensive. And now all of a sudden we only have 10 pickup trucks. I can now only carry 40 molecules of oxygen because there are less pickup trucks and less ability to transfer that load. Think about that pickup truck kind of like the red blood cell. Less red blood cells means less ability to transport oxygen. So now, as you can imagine, this isn't just going to be with anemia, but with anything that causes hypoxia or impairs your ability to oxygenate your tissues. Think about things like sleep apnea or pulmonary issues like COPD. If your mitochondria do not have enough oxygen, they don't have all the supplies they need in order to finish the job of making ATP. Similar to cooking or building anything. If you're building something or cooking something, you want that item to look right and come out right, you better have all the ingredients or supplies necessary to complete that job. So, there are a number of different kind of anemias, but does it matter what kind of anemia? Well, when screening for anemia, one thing that we look for is a marker called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein located within the red blood cell that carries oxygen. Oxygen has to bind to hemoglobin in order to be transported along the red blood cell. It's kind of like the straps that you have to place across your load whenever transporting anything. Otherwise, that thing might fall off your trailer or off the back of your pickup. So, in this article, they stated that decreased hemoglobin levels affected cortical atrophy, meaning the brain actually shrinks. And in this article, they stated that the cognitive functions were strongly related to hemoglobin levels. The lower the hemoglobin levels, the lower they scored on cognitive tests. So it doesn't matter whether you have pernicious anemia or iron deficiency anemia or sickle cell anemia, they all impair your ability to transport oxygen. And in this article, entitled Anemia and Risk of Dementia in Older Adults, they state that anemia is associated with an increased risk of developing dementia. And in fact, in this study, they actually found that the more severe the anemia, the greater risk of cognitive decline. So if you're struggling with cognitive decline, has your provider screened for anemia? If they have and they came up empty-handed, your cognitive decline is likely due to one of the myriad of other potential factors that can lead to one experiencing cognitive decline. Or maybe you did have an anemia and even after managing it, you still don't feel as sharp as you should. This video is just showing you one of the potential factors involved, and oftentimes it's a complex web of issues that we have to untangle. If that sounds like you, I've created a free PDF guide that you can download on our website that will walk you through all the factors involved and how I systematically walk through managing these patients who are struggling with cognitive decline.